It's the beta guys that are the beta bucks guys are getting married, and it's because the woman is serving her own best interest to get a kid. Alpha fucks tend to single mom a bunch of people. So I want to give a thank you. I want to say thank you to the right-wing e-girls. You guys are amazing. You guys are so awesome. And the reason you're so awesome is I have said for years that there's no such thing as a traditional woman. Not me, not you. And anybody claiming to be traditional is just a liar. And I can't stand liars. I believe I have been pretty honest with you guys, as honest as I can. You know, I'm not going to give you a detailed list by list of every bad thing I've done. But I think I've come to the table with some sincerity and said, look, I'm not a traditional woman. I wish I was, but you can be like a rec league star and understand that LeBron James is the king of the league. You know what I mean? Like I can see that there's better women, but I just enjoy commentating. It's a fun gig for me. I enjoy this. But the challenge you get with right-wing e-girls is a lot of them claim purity. And what they'll do is they'll signal purity in a variety of ways. Some of them will claim to be virgins, claim to be, very low body count, they'll claim they believe in monogamy. And that's a big virtue signal for women. They say, men, you guys are bad. I believe in monogamy. And then Pearl says, hey, were you a virgin on your wedding day? And they're like, choke. They're cooked. They're like, well, I mean, yeah, I threw it back for Tyler in college, but I believe in monogamy right now. And I'm like, hey, that's not monogamy. And they're like, well, I believe in a traditional marriage. And I'm like, well, were you a virgin on your wedding day? And they're like, you know what I mean? They're like, and then I'm like, oh, okay. When Steven Crowder got divorced, I bet you took the man's side. Like you said that you don't talk back to your boss, right? You don't talk back to your boss. So if a woman was talking back to her husband, you wouldn't claim emotional abuse, right? Wrong. Well, and then I'll say, well, you don't surround yourself with women that make those kind of decisions. You cut them off pretty fast. And then they're like, well, no. And I'm like, okay, bitch, shut the fuck up. So one of the right-wing e-girls that loves to claim purity, and to the point, her name's Mary Morgan. And she's a commentator at Timcast. Let me show you her thing. And I just saw her tweet. So Mary Morgan she does claim to be a virgin, right? Now, I do think that saving yourself for marriage is, it's an admirable thing. I think the people that do it that are really, I do admire the fact that they do it. But I do find this sect of Christian women that remain virgins so they can get the clout off of being a virgin. So, your virginity is something special to give to somebody when you give it to them with youth, right? So if you're a virgin and you give a man your virginity at 22, it's special, or at 20, it's special, at 18, it's special. But when you start, when you start getting older, it just loses the appeal. And the reason it loses the appeal is because now I have to trust your word. I have to trust your ability to tell the truth. And as a woman, there's a reason the Islamists or whatever, they say you need like 3 female witnesses to counter 1 male. And it's because we're liars. We're liars. We lie. And the biggest people we lie to are ourselves. So what women like Mary Morgan are going to do that tend to use their virginity for clout is they're going to still do everything the modern way, but they're going to publicly signal purity, right? They're going to publicly virtue signal. Now, generally what these women will do is they'll still go on a million dates. They'll still make out with it. Like she's probably still made out with a million dudes. On top of that, they have a lot of workaround virginities. So like you didn't get finger blasted once. Right. Yeah, right. No guy's seen you naked. Right. And, there are simps that will believe this. There are men that are sexually inexperienced. And that's why these women flow into conservatism. Right? They flow into it. They're like, there's men that'll just believe me at my word right this way. It's like they'll do the back door. They'll blow a guy. And you can tell because if it was really special to her, like her virginity, why is she sharing it with the world? Why is she telling everybody? It's a kind of a weird thing to tell people. Back in 2023, I was put on a government watch list for speaking out about men's issues. The government spent who knows how much money trying to shut me up. And honestly, to some extent, it worked. I was demonetized on YouTube. I had 3 Instagram accounts deleted, 7 TikToks accounts wiped out, and I was forced to delete 3 years worth of work, videos, interviews, everything. The more honest I was, the harder I was punished. And eventually I had to shut down my show, move back home, and completely start over. But I'm not giving up. This time we're doing things differently. I've created my own app, a space where free speech actually means free speech. On this app, you'll not only get access to all my old content, but you'll also help shape our future documentaries and show topics. For just $10 a month, you're not only supporting me, you're supporting a movement, a network that refuses to be silenced. The link is in the description. Join us and be a part of something that fights back against censorship. Now, let's talk bigger picture. Why don't we have true free speech in America anymore? Welcome to the female economy, where women make 80% of consumer buying decisions. Have you ever wondered why women always seem to get their way? Well, here's the truth. Men tend to care about the free flow of ideas. Men can separate an idea from the person who said it. But women, on the other hand, have learned that they can control what gets said by controlling what gets funded. Platforms like YouTube have one goal. They want to make money. And if that means catering to the majority female audience, they will. That's why being a conservative creator today feels impossible. This isn't just about me, it's about the future of online speech. With the Audacity Network, me and my community will never have to worry about being silenced again. Yeah, and now we got Gerald, super simp Gerald. Let's not get into the gutter. Oh, I'll get into the gutter. Why are you here? Again, I keep saying, look, I have the title today, Stop Watching. Stop watching. You go ahead. I'll see you never. If you're going to come here to nag me on how to do my show, what are you doing? Brett Cooper is available. She does a very clean cut show. I recommend it. Go right there. I get into the nitty gritty, and it's important to get into the specifics because that's how they manipulate you. That's how women do false grape allegations, is they'll say something like, oh, I told him to stop. And you're like, oh, well, that's terrible. And then she leaves out the part where she said, never mind, stick it in. You know what I mean? Like, so you gotta get into the specifics. I would say she has at least 5 finger blasting bodies. I would say at least 5. And again, we got to talk about another thing. Every day you guys say, is Pearl married? Is she even going to let us know? Every day you're like, okay, our Pearl, I even saw somebody being like, is she going to date this person? Is she going to date this person? I do appreciate the input. I appreciate the caring, but I'm trying to do my job here. And sometimes it's a little distracting. You know what I mean? Assume all virgins over 21. I'm not going up to you and saying, who did you bang? You know what I mean? Anyways, I will only do that if you signal purity. Because I don't like liars. I really don't. I don't like dishonesty. I just like to be honest up front. Okay, so now I love the e-girls because a lot of them are in positions they shouldn't be in. Because we're women, so we just get given things. How long would it take for a man to become a conservative commentator? But they're like right-wing e-girl who claims she's a virgin. Here, right this way. Here's a microphone. And it's very cringe, right? Now a lot of people say that I'm bitter about this. I understand that perspective, but I just really enjoy being accurate. She went now. Mary Virgin. What's his name? Oh my God, I went on his show. How did I forget his name? On Daily Wire. Michael Knowles. That's it. I can't find it now, but you'll have to take my word. I know I saw it. She even went on. She goes on. She went on Michael Knowles' show, and they had in the title "Virgin Mary." And I'm like, it's like the same thing with conservatives. They're like, we really care about virginity. That's a special thing between a husband and a wife. I'm a virgin. It's like, oh, I really care about God. That's a special religious thing. God, 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 I love God. Let me live stream my baptism. You know what I mean? It's just, I really love my kids. Hey kids, can you pose for the camera for the thumbnail? It's like, do you know what I mean? I don't like dishonesty. I don't. So anyway, she says, I'm convinced a reason why people obsess over their exes and can't move on after breakups these days is because they had premarital sex, oftentimes while living together. You're just not meant to be that close to someone and never see them again. Now, on its head, right? I think a lot of times, a lot of people have ego beliefs in Christianity, but we have to kind of look at like what the facts are, right? We have to look at what people are choosing. If women were that bonded by their virginity to a man, why don't they stay with the men they lost their virginities to? Now, if you lost your virginity to like, I don't know, Tom Cruise or something, maybe it's different. But virginity, a lot of times what religious people want to do is they use virginity as a way to obfuscate the burden of performance of having frame as a man. And the ultimate frame, in my opinion, as a man is just not giving a shit what women think, being able to say no. I mean, the women you're banging, right? Again, if the virginity was so bonding, why is it when no fault divorce, all those women that married as virgins just up and they said, see ya, honey. I'll see you never. Goodbye. Marriage for women is very pragmatic. Alpha men, unless they're like generally speaking, it's the beta guys the beta bucks guys are getting married, and it's because the woman is serving her own best interest to get a kid. Alpha fucks tend to single mom a bunch of people. So, anyways, they said debating getting on medication because I can't get over my breakup. No, women move on really fast. And if you look at it in actuality, a beta bucks guy, look at Erica Kirk. I mean, her husband's dead, and she's like, "See ya. Let me go be an influencer." Women just are not happy with betas. We push off being with betas as long as humanly possible.